Chapter 1. The First Warning. I never planned to tell this story. The school's history alone is enough to keep anyone silent. But then there was her, the girl I hadn't met yet, the one who would drag me deeper into its shadows than I ever should have gone. I didn't know her yet, or the two boys who had become tied to me in ways I couldn't escape. The school binds people together, right before it tears them apart. My name is Colton, and it all started one morning while I was packing for my first day at a new school. I hated my last one. Everyone treated me like I was some kind of alien just because I had vividly bright blue eyes. I kept hoping this school would be different, but I couldn't be sure. Whatever happened, I'd just have to make the most of it. After putting on my uniform and packing my things, I headed down the hallway into the living room where my mom was waiting. She straightened my tie, looked me over, and nodded. I nodded back. She kissed my cheek, and I stepped out onto the porch, only to be ambushed by my sister, Farah. She held my lunch high above her head, laughing. "Ha! Got your lunch!" I spun around, reaching for it. Farah was tall, taller than me, even though I wasn't short myself. I lunged forward, frustration burning in my chest. "Farah, I need that! Give it back! Or what?" she teased. My hands curled into fists. Anger scorched through me. How dare she think she could pick on me? I wasn't going to let her. I'd show her who was boss. ORILL. Before I could even touch her, Dad stepped between us. "All right, break it up." "But Dad, she stole my lunch," I protested. Farah's expression instantly shifted to wide-eyed innocence. Dad turned to her, hands on his hips. "Farah, give him back his lunch." She rolled her eyes and shoved it toward me. I snatched it before she could pull anything else. She stomped to the car, leaving me alone with Dad. He turned to me, disappointment tightening his face. "And you," he growled. I swallowed hard. His tone made my stomach twist. "Get in the car." We climbed in. Him in the driver's seat, me in the passenger seat. He stared at me, his voice hard as stone. "What do you think you were doing?" I looked down. "I'm sorry. Sorry isn't going to cut it this time. How many times have I told you not to hit a girl?" I stared out the window, wishing the conversation would end. "Look at me," he said, softer now. I turned. He still looked angry, but there was something gentler underneath. "I want to train you to be a man, Colton," he said. "But I need you to control your temper. No matter what a girl does, you protect her. They're not as strong as we are. Hurting them makes you cowardly. God made us to protect them, to treat them as valuable. Treat them that way. At least try." His words sank into me. I'd never thought about it like that before. Something shifted inside me. He continued, voice softening even more. "Trust me, it'll give you a fulfilling purpose in the future. A fulfilling purpose." I repeated the phrase in my head. I didn't understand it, not fully, but I wanted to. "I understand," I said quietly. Dad nodded. "Good." A few minutes passed in silence before my dad spoke again. "You know you're going to be staying at this school for a couple months, right?" I nodded. "You got everything?" Another nod. We pulled into the parking lot and slowed to a stop. The school rose in front of us, ginormous, way bigger than I expected. My stomach tightened. I wasn't ready for something this huge, but I'd have to get used to it. This was home for the next few months. I took a breath and stepped out of the car, my bag in hand. My dad shut the door and drove off. Farah and I stood side by side, taking in the atmosphere. The place was enormous, but also extraordinary. A wide, polished staircase led up to the entrance. The building towered over us, detailed with giant dragon sculptures on either side. Woods surrounded the campus, along with gardens and a basketball court. It felt like walking into a dream, overwhelming and exciting at the same time. I glanced at Farah, guilt tugging at me. Dad's words echoed in my head. The way I yelled at her earlier, it wasn't right. Sisters will be sisters, especially older ones. I touched her shoulder gently. "Hey, Farah, I'm sorry about before. I shouldn't have yelled at you, and I definitely shouldn't have even thought about hitting you." Her eyes widened. Oh, it's cool. I probably deserved it anyway. Being a jerk and all." She brushed one leg against the other, suddenly shy. I smiled, and we started walking toward the school. That's when we noticed two boys heading our way. One walked like he was on a runway, waving as he approached. His tousled golden hair caught the light, making him look bold and confident. The other boy walked slightly behind him, though still close. He had straight black hair that reached just below his ears. his bangs framing dark brown eyes. Even through his long sleeve uniform, I could tell he was muscular, and he was just an inch shorter than the blonde one. When they reached us, the black haired boy stepped forward and grabbed my bag. "Oh, hey, let me help you with that," he said. I blinked. I wasn't expecting that kind of treatment. "Oh," he smiled and held the bag easily. The blonde boy put a hand on his hip. "New here?" he asked, flipping his hair out of his face. Yeah," I said. Farah bit her lip, staring up at him, completely smitten. The blonde boy slung an arm over the other's shoulder. "Cool. I'm Bilton, and this is Bruce." Bruce nodded politely. I felt a small smile tug at my mouth. "I'm Colton, and this is my sister, Farah." Farah twirled her hair. "You," she said, trying way too hard to sound cool. Bilton turned and gestured for us to follow. "You guys are in the same class as us, I think. Come on." Bilton led us down a hallway lined with lockers. Bruce lifted my bag over his head and shoved it into one of them. He pointed at it. "This is your locker, Colton." "Oh, thanks," I said, smiling. Bilton took Farah to her class, and Bruce and I headed down another hallway to find ours. He gave me a quick look up and down like he was scanning me, then snorted. "Figures," he said under his breath. I frowned. "What? You've got the looks, man. Even with Bilton's golden hair, you've got those sapphires for eyes." He chuckled at his own observation. I raised a brow. "Excuse me?" "Oh, don't take it personally. I'm just saying." Bruce rubbed the back of his neck, suddenly awkward. I ran a hand through my dark brown hair. "Why say that all of a sudden?" Bruce grinned mischievously. "I think the reason Bilton came up to you so fast was to figure out who you were. I suspect he's a bit jealous. I could tell by the way he walked up to you." He laughed again, but something about what he said made me uncomfortable. I didn't want to get dragged into whatever this was, though I couldn't deny I felt a little flattered. Finally, someone who didn't treat me like a freak. Okay, I muttered, trying to brush it off. We reached a classroom. Bruce pushed the door open for me and guided me to a seat next to a girl. Her blonde hair was tied into two buns, with loose strands framing her face. Heavy makeup, sharp green eyes. She chewed her gum with her arms crossed. I sat down, and Bruce leaned toward me. "Hey, pal, I gotta get to my seat. See you later." I nodded, and he slipped into a desk in the back. The girl was already staring at me, legs crossed, head resting on her hand. "Yo," she said playfully, smiling like she knew something I didn't. "Sapphires! Where'd you get those contacts?" "Contacts? Seriously?" I furrowed my brows. "Oh, these aren't contacts," she smirked. "No way. No one has eyes like that. Is this a joke to you?" I thought. Who does she think she is? I stayed silent, then gave her a single look, the kind that said I wasn't playing whatever game she was trying to start. Her smirk dropped into a surprised gape. She clearly wasn't expecting that. I turned away just as a man in a brown-collared overcoat walked to the front of the room. Dark pants, black dress shoes. He slipped on his glasses and clasped his hands behind his back. "Attention, students," he said. "It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Mr. Knox, and I'll be your English teacher." He talked for the next hour, mostly introducing a mythology unit we'd be studying for a while. Sometimes during class, I'd hear that girl giggling at me. At one point, she tried to pass me a note, but I ignored her and kept my eyes on the teacher. I couldn't see her face, but I heard her groan in frustration. Getting my attention must have felt impossible to her. After class, Mr. Knox opened the door and everyone filed out. I followed behind the crowd until I heard a deep voice call my name. "Colton!" I stopped near the doorway. Mr. Knox greeted me with a warm smile and held out his hand. I shook it. "It's a pleasure to have you in my class," he said. "You do a great job focusing." A small spark of pride lit in my chest. I rarely got that kind of praise. "Oh, thank you, sir," he continued. "I'm impressed you don't let that Stella girl distract you. She seems to have every other guy's attention." I felt awkward and a little flattered. "Oh, I guess I don't find her distracting." "Really?" he asked, curious. I shrugged. "She's kind of annoying, honestly. But I don't let it faze me." "Well," Mr. Knox said, "if she keeps bothering you, I can move her. Just let me know." His tone was so warm it caught me off guard. My respect for him grew instantly. Maybe this place wouldn't be so bad after all. "Thanks," I said with a smile. We walked our separate ways, waving to each other. I headed to my locker, reached up, and grabbed my bag. Bruce appeared beside me with his stuff in his hands. "Come on, follow me," Colton, let me show you to your room. I nodded and followed him. We climbed a staircase that looked vintage. The carpet was blue with dark red splotches, decorated with eyeballs and dragons. Weird, but I shrugged it off. Just a carpet, I told myself. At the top, Bruce led me down a long hallway lined with doors on both sides. Almost there, he said. I barely heard him. My mind drifted as I studied the chandeliers overhead, the walls, the doors. Everything felt unique, but odd, almost surreal. Bruce stopped at a door with the number 110 above it. Here it is, Colton. Your room. I'm 109, so if you need me, I'm right next door. He handed me a key card. I nodded gratefully. Thanks, Bruce. Means a lot. Bruce's face lit up, like he wasn't expecting me to thank him. He nodded once, satisfied, then slipped into his dorm. I slid my keycard into the lock. The door clicked open, and I stepped inside. The room looked like something out of a vintage motel. Small bathroom, a narrow hallway, a big comfortable bed with shelves beside it. There was even a tiny laundry room. Cozy enough. I decided to take a shower before bed. I turned the water to warm and stepped in, letting the heat relax my muscles. But something felt off. Even though the water was only warm, steam filled the room fast. Too fast. Thick clouds rose around me, swirling in strange patterns. I blinked, feeling hazy. My limbs felt heavy, sluggish. Maybe I was just tired. But then I noticed the steam shifting, gathering, pulling together so slowly I almost didn't catch it. I glanced at it from the corner of my eye and froze. The steam had shaped itself into a tall, thin, bony face, huge oval eyes, a mouth stretched wide in a silent smile. A pit dropped in my stomach. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. I turned my head fully toward it, and in an instant, the face lunged at me. It was right in front of mine, screaming. A horrible, blood-curdling scream that tore through the air. The sound rattled my bones. That face burned itself into my mind. I jerked away and slammed the water off. The steam vanished. Completely. As if nothing had happened. I stood there shaking, unsure if I should even step out. Eventually, I forced myself to move. I dried off, got dressed, brushed my teeth, and crawled into bed. My mind tried to make sense of it. Maybe I was feverish. Maybe it was just my imagination. The warmth of the blankets wrapped around me, soft and comforting, and the fear slowly faded. I let myself sink into the coziness of the bed and drifted into the dark. Looking back, that was the moment I ignored something I never should have missed.